You guys ready to have some fun with science today? You are? Good. So we're going to do a little experiment today. We're going to learn about something called water absorption. That's a big word, isn't it? So when something absorbs water, it takes it in, or it lets it in. Or you could say it sucks it in. But not everything absorbs. Some material, some things repel the water, meaning they won't let it in. So today we're going to do a little experiment to see what the materials we have, to see if they absorb water or repel. So we have some cotton balls, some aluminum foil, a paper towel, a sock, a plastic baggie, a sponge, a piece of wax paper, and our styrofoam plates are going to be part of the experiment too. Now, who can tell me what this is? A pipette, that's right. We've used these before, haven't we? So we're going to use our pipettes to suck up the water in this bowl and then squirt it onto our different materials to see how they react to the water. Okay? Now for the purpose of this video, I will be pipetting the water since all of my students are invisible. Okay. Stacy, would you like to go first? Okay. Let's see, we're going to start with the aluminum foil. Now, if you notice on your worksheets, we have all of our materials listed. And then we have two columns. One for yes and one for no. So as we do our little experiment and find out how each material reacts to the water, we're going to put a check mark in either under yes or under no. If it absorbs the water, we're going to put a check mark under yes. If it repels, we're going to put a check mark under no. Okay? So, Lacey, do you think the aluminum foil is going to absorb the water or repel it? You think it's going to repel the water? Okay. Travis, what do you think the aluminum foil is going to do? You think it's going to repel the water? Okay. Peter, what do you think the aluminum foil will do? You think it's going to absorb the water? Okay. Lily, what about you? You think it's going to absorb the water too? Okay. Well, we've all made our guesses, what we think is going to happen. So now we're going to do the experiment and find out. Everybody watch closely. Put the water on the aluminum foil. What happened? Nothing? Did the water disappear? No, it's just sitting there, isn't it? So what happens if we move the foil around? The water just slides around? So what do you think that means? You think it's repelling the water? That's right. If it absorbed the water, it would suck it in, wouldn't it? But it's not letting the water in. It's repelling it. So the water is just sitting on top of the foil. Okay, so on your worksheets, you're going to put a check mark in the no section because it did not absorb the water. Alright? Travis, you're going to test out our cotton balls. Do you think they're going to absorb or repel? Absorb? Okay. Lacey, what about you? You think they're going to absorb it? Okay. Peter? Absorb? Alright. What about you, Lily? You think they're going to absorb the water? Okay. Let's see what happens. I'm going to wet our cotton ball. Where did the water go? Interesting. Is the water still sitting on top of the cotton ball? Where'd it go? It went in the cotton ball. So what does that mean? Did the cotton ball absorb the water? It did? Yes, it did. It sucked it right in, didn't it? If the water was still sitting on top, it would fall off when we dumped it upside down, wouldn't it? Right, okay. So the cotton balls did absorb the water. So we're going to put a check mark in the yes beside the cotton balls, okay? All right. Peter? You want to see what a paper towel does? Okay. What do you think it's going to do? Absorb, okay. Lacey? Absorb, alright. Travis? Absorb, okay. Lily? You think it's going to absorb it too? Okay. Let's find out. Pour some water on that. Ooh. Look, you can see it moving. So how did the paper towel react to the water? It absorbed it? It did, didn't it? It absorbed it, and you can see the water moving through the paper towel as it let it in, can't you? All right. So the paper towel definitely absorbed the water, didn't it? Yes, it did. Do you think maybe that's why people use paper towels to clean up messes? Yes. They're good at absorbing messes and cleaning things up, aren't they? That's right. Okay. So we're going to put a check mark beside yes and beside paper towel on our worksheets, okay? Alright, Lily, grab your pipette there and let's see what our sandwich baggie does. What do you think it's going to do? You think it's not going to absorb the water? Okay. What about you, Travis? No? Okay. Peter? Not going to? Alright. Lacey? No? Okay. Let's find out. Ooh. So what's it doing? Is it repelling? So what happens if we pick up the bag? All the water fell off. So did the bag absorb the water? No, it didn't, did it? So you were right. Plastic baggie does not absorb water. It repels it. Okay. So on your worksheet, put a check mark under no beside the sandwich bag. Okay, next we have a sock. Lacey, you want to test out our sock? What do you think it's going to do? You think it's going to absorb the water? Okay. What about you, Travis? Absorb it? Alright. Lily? You think it will absorb it? Okay. What about you, Peter? Absorb it? Now, why do all of you think it's going to absorb the water? Because you've gotten your sock split before and the water came in? Okay. Well, let's see if you're right. Squirt some water on our sock. Ooh, do you see that? So what did our sock do? Did it let some of the water in? It did, didn't it? But what happened over here? Some of the water is still sitting on top of the sock. Oh, now it's gone. So our sock did something very interesting. Some of the water it sucked in right away, and some of the water sat on top of the sock for a little bit before it went in. Oh, there it goes. So what can we say about our sock? Did it absorb the water? It did, didn't it? But some of it just took a little bit longer to go in, right? See, it sucked up all the water that was underneath too. So the sock does absorb, doesn't it? Right. Okay. So put a check mark under yes beside your sock on your worksheet. Alright, Travis, you want to see what the sponge is going to do. I bet all of you know what the sponge is going to do. How many of you have ever used a sponge at home or seen someone use a sponge to clean up a mess? All of you? So the sponge is very helpful for cleaning up messes, just like the paper towel is, right? Okay. So what do you think that means about how the sponge is going to react to water? You think it's going to absorb the water? Do all of you think it's going to absorb the water? Yes? Okay. Well, Travis is going to find out for us. Squirt some water on the sponge. Where did the water go? It went in the sponge. I think you're right. Now, no water. What happens if we squeeze a sponge? Okay, there's not enough water in there. If there's a lot of water in the sponge and we squeeze the sponge, what happens? The water comes out. So the water comes out of the sponge, then we know that the water was in the sponge, right? Right. So that means that the sponge absorbed the water, right? Okay. Oh, there we go. Now the water's not in the sponge. Will it absorb it again, you think? Oh, yep. There we go. It absorbed it all back up. Now it's in the sponge again. Okay. Y'all are doing good at this. So we know we can put a yes beside the sponge on our worksheet, right? Okay. Next we have our styrofoam plate. Peter's going to test out our styrofoam plate. Who thinks the styrofoam plate's going to absorb the water? Nobody. Why not? You think it's going to repel the water? Okay, let's find out. Y'all might be onto something. What's the water doing? Just sitting there? So is the plate absorbing the water? Is it letting it in? No? Okay. So what does that mean? That means it's repelling the water, right? Okay, so on our worksheet, we're going to put a check mark under no beside styrofoam plate, because styrofoam plate does not absorb the water. So we've got one more material to test, and that's our wax paper. Lacey, do you think the wax paper is going to absorb the water? No? Okay. What about you, Travis? You do? Okay. Why is that? Because it's paper? Okay. Peter, what about you? You think it's not going to absorb the water? Okay. What about you, Lily? You think it will? Okay. Well, Lily, squirt some water on that paper and let's find out. So what's it doing? Is the wax paper absorbing the water? It's not, is it? It won't let it in. So what's it doing? It's repelling. That's right. Now, why do you think the wax paper is repelling the water instead of absorbing it? Because of the wax on the paper? That might be right. That could be. Maybe the wax is stopping the water from getting into the paper. Very good, Travis. Okay. Y'all did good experimenting today. Y'all good little scientists. So what do we learn about water absorption? What is water absorption? That's right. It's when something lets water in, takes it in. And when it does not take it in, what does it do? It repels. That's right. So does everything absorb? No. Does everything repel? No, that's right. So look at your worksheet. Look at the different materials that absorbed and the ones that didn't. Were there any that did absorb the water that you thought would not? Were there any that repelled it that you thought would absorb the water? There is? Why do you think those materials repelled the water? Because they were made of something that wouldn't let the water in? Okay. So what are some other things that you think will absorb the water? Dirt. Why do you think dirt will absorb the water? What happens when dirt gets wet? It makes mud, doesn't it? That's right. The water doesn't run off the dirt, it goes into the dirt, doesn't it? It makes nice, mushy mud. Okay. What else do you think might absorb water? The construction paper in the art center? Very good. What's something that you think will not absorb water? A brick. Very good. Is a brick hard or soft? It's hard, isn't it? Do you think that might be one reason why it won't absorb the water? Because it's too hard for the water to get in? Okay. What's something else that you think might repel water? Wood? You think wood would repel water? Okay. Maybe one day we'll do another experiment and we'll test out some other materials, including the ones that you guys just mentioned. Okay? Y'all did so good today. Awesome.